Hey yo, what's up guys?
Hey yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Jjan Podcast. Today I got two guests. Johnny is back. Say what's up, Johnny.
How's it going, guys? Everything here is going to be fun, hopefully.
Yeah, and today we also got a new guest. Timo is on the channel. So shout out to him. What's up, Timo?
What's up, man? What's up? I'm glad to be here, and it's my favorite group we're talking about today, so it's gonna be fun, I hope. And yeah, first podcast ever. Let's see how that goes.
For sure. All right, so this is called the Jjan Podcast. So before we start talking about our topic, we gotta bring in our drinks. What do you guys have for today?
Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, I'm actually drinking coffee in this cute thing. So,
okay.
Yeah, today.
Hey, yo, I think I'm pretty basic today because I said this to Byron, I usually drink water a lot. But I bought something and it's literally just a supermarket brand banana drink. So she just hit, right? So
okay.
Just trying some banana.
Sweet. I'm glad that you actually didn't bring water.
Yeah.
But I have coffee as well, actually. I don't have beer this time. I usually have like an alcohol beverage, but it's not the time for that right now where I'm at. So I'm going with coffee today. So
yeah.
So
I was drinking yesterday. That's why I don't.
I'm actually not.
I was actually drinking yesterday. I can't.
Really?
Yeah. I think exactly beer is like not for everyone. For other drinks.
Beer is like an acquired taste, but then with beer, there's different tastes. So you need to, I don't know, like, cause when I was like, starting to drink, I didn't even like beer. And then I think my taste buds just grew to like it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now I just
you
like
get used to it.
Yeah.
Like
but wine I don't like.
I mean, same here. Yeah, I don't like wine either. Like,
I'm like the vodka type of guy, to be honest. So yeah, it's like my main thing.
Yeah, I had a podcast the other day, and someone was, or not the other day, but another podcast, and someone was drinking Hennessy, but they didn't have their video cam, so I don't know if they were actually drinking Hennessy or not. But their voice was there, but I don't know if they actually were drinking Hennessy. But
that's good though. Actually, a lot of people look at me weird when they hear that I don't drink beer or don't like beer, because I am German, so it's like where beer comes from.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, but I called this podcast the Jjan Podcast just because, like I said, I like beer, so I want to try different drinks. So usually when I have a podcast, I would try a new beer out to see how it tastes, or a new alcohol beverage. But like I said, it's like 2 p.m. where I'm at, so it's not the right drinking time right now. And I'm not an alcoholic, so I won't drink alcohol until it's like nighttime. Unless it's a mimosa.
Perfect time.
Unless it's
perfect
a mimosa.
Time.
Yeah. I was actually drinking yesterday. That's why I'm not drinking now. Because like I usually have like in a week like 3 days that I go out and drink, and then I have like 1 day in my house like I drink but like 1 beer or something. Because I really like drinking, but I don't like getting drunk. So I think that's why I just like the taste of it.
Technically, I did drink yesterday, but I just had a beer. So I just went out for dinner and I had beer. Is that technically a drinking? Because I don't know.
Kinda.
But that's what I drank yesterday too. So
yeah.
Do we know that? I was actually going to wait for this to ask like this question, because I have. How is the original way to call this group like officially? Because I have always had because I have like 3 ways that people always have been telling me how to pronounce I-DLE. Sometimes they say just idol, and I'm like, I don't know. So you are the expert here. So
okay, so before we do that, if you guys don't know what we're talking about today, the topic is about G-Idle because I'm saying G-Idle because that's what I usually say. I don't know if I don't know like the actual term, but because they just came out with an album and came back after a long period of time. So I thought it'd be right to make a podcast episode on it. And Timo is a big fan, like is his favorite group. So I thought to bring him on and ask him about some G-Idle, talk about. So yeah, so Timo, how do you actually say the name? Is it Idol or G-Idle?
Well, actually there's a third version, as Johnny said. So there's, I think it's stages, I would say, stages of getting better. So G-Idle is probably the most basic one, and most people say it that get into them. Because, I mean, it literally says the G, right? But it's probably the most wrong one. And then there's Idol, which is kind of right. And if you want to like pronounce it in Korean, that's probably the most correct one, which is Yoja Idol. Yoja for woman or girl, right. Woman, basically. So that's kind of it. But most people just, from what I know, say Idol or G-Idle, which is fine. Like nobody really cares.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's something that like every time I react to them, like in the comments, there's always like this debate on how to pronounce it. And I'm like, it has a G and it says Idol.
But it's in brackets, so right? It must mean something.
Yeah, but I just assume that that's because of the Korean name, right? Mm-hmm. Like it makes more sense to call it like in the Korean name, I think, the group, that on the Western side. I don't know. I think that for me, that makes more sense.
It's actually quite an interesting topic too, because the group themselves, they also changed this perspective over the years, I would say. Mm-hmm. So whenever they have like interviews internationally, early on they used to say G-Idle, but now they just say Idol. So they kind of shifted that way as well. And funnily enough, in the current music video we had with Tomboy, they also dropped the G at the end of the video.
I was going to say that.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess maybe it's the right time to switch.
Yes. Yeah, I think... Well, do you think that they made that decision because of that? Like, maybe it was like, you know what? Maybe we should be Idol, right? And just drop the whole G.
I think it's I don't know, easier to say. Like, Yoja Idol is like kind of like a longer way to say it. So I feel like they wanted to shorten it to make it easier to just make it Idol. So I think that's like flows off the tongue a little better. I always used to say G-Idle because of the G, but I always thought the brackets like meant something. I knew it was Yoja Idol, but I don't really know who says Yoja Idol, because I think people usually either say G-Idol or Idol. So, and I started saying G-Idol, and it's been like that since I started watching G-Idol. But I think it's Idol now, so I'll probably say Idol now, but I'll probably forget it, like how I forget,
So, do you guys think, I mean, I think all the questions should be to Timo, right? Because he knows, I mean, I probably know that you know a lot. Do you think that new people that watches like this new music video, like, let's say I see a lot of reaction channels that I never heard, like, of the group. I was watching the reactions, and I think, do you think this is like a great song that represents the group to new people? Because I think that they're gonna be in shock when they see like the other music video, the other songs and the B-side, because it has like I'm gonna say Idol. It has like the Idol vibe, but it's like really different from what they have done before. Do you think that is like, could be for the better? Or
for me, worse? I think, because if people are just getting to G-Idol, if they're just getting to Idol now, it's like, they don't know who Jjan is. And like, if they go back to the previous stuff, they'd be like, who is this one girl? And they might like them, because I know a lot of people, there's a lot of Jjan fans that are Idol fans too. And like, we're going to talk about this in a sec, but we can talk about it now. But obviously, if you guys are new, keep saying G-Idol. But if you guys are new,
just say whatever.
Should we make like a counter for all? You say G-Idol today?
if you guys
just
are
say
new,
G-Idol, it's
if you guys
okay,
are
I
new
mean.
Idol fans, just know that there's like another member. I actually messed this up a couple reactions ago because I thought I said 7 members, but it's actually only 6 members. And then people were like making fun of me for saying 7. But at the same time, I reacted to Icon like a couple minutes before. So I was thinking of Icon the whole time because they came out with that Treasure Jjan cover thing, and I went crazy during that one. So
it was so good, yeah.
Yeah, so I was not thinking straight at that time. That's why I messed up 7 to 6 members.
Yeah. Like, just going back to the topic of if it's like a good entry song in music video for new fans, I think it's tough to say. I think you guys are right. It's like, with the Jjan thing, it's kind of awkward, right? Like, for new fans to like go with Tomboy and then discover, oh, there used to be 6 before this, and like for years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you think they get into like another song first, then they would be kind of disappointed she's now gone. So I would probably say Tomboy is the best to get into them because it's like the new version of them. As sad as it is, I think it's the truth. So at the same time, I also think it's their best music video, to be honest. So I actually...
Yeah, that's true, yeah. No, they went all out on this one. Like, this one, when I watched the video, I was like, what? And you know what I like? I like this a lot when a group does that, or the company, or when they go and do this like concept that they used to do back then. Because I remember, like, I really like old K-pop because of that. Because the first gens, like, they had like the sexy concepts, if you say like that, like really extremely, mature. And now everything's like too cute, like for my liking. So when they came back and do this, I was like, yes, this is the way that I think this concept is really, really good for them. Like I said, this music video was really good, and the song, everything, the outfit, like wow. And I think like you're right. I think if someone hear this song and watch the music video for the first time, and it's easier to get into a group without a member than with the member, and then the member is gone, because then you have to go through that period of I think this is a good entry.
I think if anything, you're both sad and happy when you figure out there's a 6th member that used to be there, because it's like more to fanboy or fangirl over if you see them after that. So I think it's just better to go this way around. And also one big reason, I'm just dropping this right now, my bias is Soyeon. And I think that's actually one of her worst raps she ever did in Tomboy. So people going into this the first, they will actually be surprised later on if they figure out she's actually much better than that. So I think that's another reason where you're not disappointed by this one if you start with another one, right?
Yeah, I was gonna mention about G-Idol, I was gonna mention about Soyeon's rap biz, because I was listening to the lyrics and I was like, whoa, these are like vulgar lyrics. But I know like Soyeon is like known for like that kind of style, and like her facial expression, like again, is like I can feel that. And I also felt like all the other members have like this similar facial expression as Soyeon, because like Soyeon has her own like kind of facial expression that she does, which is amazing, because like every time she's on stage, it's like what the and I think G-Idol as a whole had that in this comeback, because I was watching their live studio Chum and live performance not too long ago, and I can see that their facial expression is like, can I say, similar to Soyeon, like how she performs too. So yeah.
Did you see? Sorry, go ahead.
No, don't worry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you guys if you saw their like comeback stage, which was the one where they were actually fighting in the beginning and then came out on stage.
Oh yeah.
Punched the camera at the end and stuff.
Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
Yeah. No, I was watching a lot of like, because I haven't uploaded like my original reactions to the music video yet. Because I've been uploading a lot of videos, but I was watching like the comeback stage, all that kind of stuff, and oh my gosh, those performances are insane. You're missing out a lot.
Yeah, Byron, you have to watch that.
Yeah. And the good thing about this is the only thing that really, really makes me happy for the group is that when that member left, I remember everyone saying like they are not gonna, be able to bring back the same, like, just sometimes when a member is left, people are like, maybe the group should disband or it's not gonna like reach the same level and style, that kind of stuff. But I feel like they really went all out on this one. Like it did say, okay, we need to, and I think that helps because if they stay this way, then maybe by next like comeback that they have, maybe probably next year, but I think maybe this year.
Maybe.
Then they're gonna have like this like snowball effect. And now, cause this video is blowing up as well for them. I saw that they posted that it reached like 40 million.
Yes.
So it's doing really good for them. So that's really good. So that should teach a lot of companies that do not give up when one of the members and promote the comeback really well, which they did.
Secret number, are you watching Vine Entertainment? Are you watching this?
Oh no.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but
we already made an entire podcast about talking to Vine Entertainment. I don't know if Vine watched that, but I take freaking Vine Entertainment. But anyways.
Yeah, good old Vine, man.
But they're starting to come out with some like new things, secret numbers. So hopefully we'll see a comeback soon. We should all the new groups have come back already, except for secret number. So that's why I'm guessing they're coming out with something new soon, which they should be. So
I think yesterday they had that Ginny solo song. That was really good.
That was a couple of days ago. Yeah. Yeah. That was the first. Like, I know she has a lot of songs. I don't know why we're going to secret number, but I just love to talk about secret number. But Jenny has written a lot of songs, and I think also produced a couple songs too, but hasn't uploaded any of them. So I'm so glad that she finally uploaded one, and I can't wait to see what she does. Because like I said during my reaction to that Jenny song, like Jenny can sing, but like she's like the main rapper of secret number. But in secret number, there's so many vocalists that it's hard to give Ginny singing parts because then someone else is going to get left out in the vocal part. So I think that's why secret number just gives Ginny the rap roles. And yeah.
Maybe a transition to I-DLE now back. Rap is a good word because did you guys hear the My Back song and see that stage?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Come on, I took your advice.
Okay, so in my defense, I don't know what this channel is that posted the live showcase. I don't know if it's a legit thing. And I recently got a copyright strike, and I don't want another one, and I don't want three. I don't want to lose this channel. So I'm just trying to stay safe out of like all this copyright stuff. I don't know what's good with copyright, whatever. And like I don't know this Core channel. And of course they're the only one that have the live performance. But I also feel like I'm probably going to listen to My Bag soon, just like the English lyric video. But I feel like they might be coming out with like the longer version of that snippet that they came up with, because it was only like 1 minute.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm waiting for that to come out, and then but I'll probably listen to My Bag or react to My Bag, with the lyric video thing that I sometimes do. So, but I heard a little bit of it.
Should we like talk about it or not? Because it's a big thing, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we can
just talk about it.
For me, it was really weird that they didn't, like, I miss the old days when groups used to like release 2 music videos at once. Because I really feel like this song should have like a music video.
For sure.
Like, it's really, really good. So maybe they will do something like performance video or something like that, but they should have done a music video because the song is really good and the performance, oh my god. That is really good. Yeah, that's why I feel like favorite group, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like they're coming out with the full version of that, like 1 minute part that they did, or like before this comeback, they came out with My Bag already, but it was only like a minute.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to come back, or not come back, they're going to come out with the longer version of that. So, and with the Nacor channel, like, I don't know this channel, and I don't know, like, why didn't Giada just post that on their own channel? Like, I don't know the whole story, but, I'm just trying to keep my channel.
A lot of I-DLE fans, from what I hear, they really are hoping that a full version comes out, like an official, like, I guess, music video or something, because they hope for more scenes where they actually drive the car that was in the 1 minute version.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be kind of hype if that happens.
For sure.
Yeah. Like, this concert really suits, like, all the members, right? Like, it was really good. Like, my bias is Yuki, and like, she has always been like this, like, not shy, but like, when I watched the music videos, like, what are you doing? Like, what the heck? It really, like, and they seem really happy as well. Like, in the performance, I've been watching the live, and they really seem really happy with what they have right now. So that's always good for them. So that's why I'm hoping that maybe they could do another comeback this year. I don't know if they're gonna do that, because I think the only group that do like more than 3 comebacks a year is Twice, right? Because last year for Twice was insane. I don't know how they do that. So if they come back this year again, that would be cool. Like, I would really want.
Yeah, I'm thinking, but I don't see any other group that does it that often. Yeah, maybe ITZY, like, close to that, but not really anyone.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I think Twice is the only group that, and that is not even counting the Japanese ones as well.
True.
Because they always drop like 3 albums. Like, what? I don't know. So I hope that they have like another comeback maybe by the end of the year. So do you think that for the next comeback they should do like this, more like this, or try another concept? Should be interesting to see like a cute, very, very cute concept of after this.
I feel like they've kind of already done the cute concept. I don't know.
But I want extremely cute, like really, really. Yeah, just like, to counter this.
Cute.
Yeah, just to see everyone's reaction to what the heck we just had, and now we're.
Actually, I mean, to be honest, I-DLE is super unpredictable. Like, I believe all of the title tracks are just completely different from one another. And we had Dumdy, as Byron said, which was kind of cutesy, but not really. It's more like fun and happy and upbeat.
Yeah.
It's not like a Lovely's G-Friend type of song or something. I don't know. Honestly, anything can happen. I really don't know.
Or, like, I was thinking this, like, I think they haven't done a kind of like EDM song, right, yet? Or do they have?
I was gonna say that I forgot the name, but it wasn't like a comeback, but it was in one of their albums, and they came out with a lyric video for it, and they performed it, I think, at a live show.
I think maybe was kind of EDM. That was on the Oh My God album.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like it. That album is really amazing. I really love that album.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Byron meant maybe or
I don't know. Is that the name of the song?
That's the name of the song, yeah maybe.
Oh, no, that wasn't the song. But
I don't know. I think, actually, they had like a remix, which was like a DJ remix. Maybe you mean that one. I think it was like a Dimitri and like Mike remix or something.
I don't think it was that one either. But I feel like they have. I feel like they have done like an EDM song, anyways. But
maybe Last Dance.
Yeah,
it was like the Universe single they had last year.
I think it was in their last comeback. They had like a lyric video that they came out with for the song. They didn't have a music video for it though. And I think they performed it at like one of the music shows before too. But
yeah, I don't remember right now, to be honest.
But talking about the G-Idol and the comeback and everything, like my favorite, I think we all have different like favorites, but my favorite is Shuha, and I freaking love Shuha's part because like I finally get to see like Shuha get like something, like some parts, because
True.
a lot of Shuha fans that are watching, I don't know like if your guys are like happy as well, but like for the longest time I've been waiting for Shuha to get like something. Like I've always said that it doesn't have to be like singing, as long as she gets like some thing, like a dance break or like something in the middle, like where she's like in the center. And she had both this time. She had like somewhat of a line to say like in the chorus bit and everything like that. And then she had the la 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 part, which I think is the best part of the song in my opinion. But
I agree.
yeah, and I saw like they were performing this live, and she was like holding a mic that looked like a green onion. I don't know if that's like supposed to be on purpose, but when I saw that mic, I was like, "Is that a green onion?" Like,
yeah.
And I think a lot of comments are like, "Is that like a vegetable or something?" But yeah, I just
a lot
found
of people
that
said
funny.
that. Actually, go ahead.
No. That was.
No, I was just gonna say about the Shuha part in Tomboy that you like, Byron. It's actually kind of funny. I personally agree too. It's my favorite part of the song, but it's also becoming a really big TikTok trend in China right now, that part. So they have like the Tomboy challenge, which is like the normal chorus, but the la 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 part is actually becoming more popular and becomes more like trendy right now. So like, you seem to be right on that track.
I'm happy about that. I've been like, I don't know, like, cause I like from my G-Idle reactions, I put in the title that like Shuha, whatever, this is Shuha's song. I honestly, I feel that because when I listen to the song, maybe because I'm a Shuha fan, that I only, besides like Soyeon rapping and like her vulgar lyrics, and like, I didn't even know that the chorus bit that they like stick their tongue out and stuff. I didn't see that until Studio Chum. But
I don't know about that yet.
Shuha's, oh, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that actually.
Okay, maybe I spoiled something. But,
No, it's fine.
But I felt like when I was listening to the G-Idle song, because I've heard it like 3 times, and whenever I hear the song, I feel like when Shuha comes on, I feel like she gets me into the song. Like, sometimes I'll get taken away from the song, but then like when Shuha comes on, I be go back into the song, if you know what I mean.
Sounds a bit
I think
like
you're. I was gonna say. I think you're in love, and that's why.
Maybe it's just
because I think we have different views of the song as well. Because I feel like for me, like I was saying, like for Yuki, I really like her parts in this. I don't know, like it's not really big, but I feel like her voice really like, cause I don't know, she has like a really deep voice, right? Yeah. So when she goes like, oh my gosh, I really like it. And I think now we're talking about like the parts of the member. Isn't that one of the things that usually people say like, cause the first Soyeon was like getting a lot of like, parts in this song, and people were like, oh, why she's always getting this and that. But when I was doing like the interviews and stuff, they actually said that the members are the ones that shows the parts that they want to put like in the song. So it was actually them, not really her. So that kind of like little hate that she was receiving was like washed away with that. I honestly didn't feel like that, because I always like, for me, it's the other side of the story is that the rappers never get enough in a song, right? So the fact that she was always rapping, that's amazing. At least for me. But I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
I think one thing to remember is very important too, is that Soyeon is the center of the group, so she naturally gets a bit of lines there as well on top of the rap, right? So, and also they are not that big of a group. They're not like Twice or Cosmic Girls or something. They don't have so many members. So I think the center and the rap part together just makes for, usually she has the most lines, but not by too much.
Yeah, but usually when I see, like I said, people talking about it, that was my thing. It was like, she's supposed to do that. Like, that's the, like, what her role is in the group. Cause there's usually groups where, for example, I think it's Everglow as well with Mia. The same thing kind of like happening, and I'm like, I used to not like that, but I'm like, yo, her voice, her presence, like, yes, please. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes they know what they're doing and what people like, but we get like biased, so we want to see more of those members.
Like me.
So we rely more, we rely more like on the live performance, the dance practice to kind of like pick, more parts. But you can do so much like in a music video, which is all the thing that I really like about this, because usually with groups, I really don't like that in a music video, they don't show them as a group. We usually get like very little screen time of all the members in one frame. And I really don't like that. And in this one, we got a lot. So I like that as well. They feel like more cohesive as a group, like their chemistry. Even when they're live performing, they were like smiling to each other, like laughing. I was like, that's the way to go. So that's why I love this. So I think they learn a lot of stuff, right? Like they were preparing really heavily on this to go, like to the next level in their career. Because they have been, how many years do they have? Like 6 years?
Since they debuted?
Yeah.
It's been almost 4. They debuted in May 2018.
Oh, okay.
I thought they've been out for longer.
I thought as well. But I mean, 4 years still, like, for a K-pop, like, let's be honest, if you're not like exploding, like, let's say, really big groups, usually for K-pop fans, it's like, okay, this group is not big, but they are. But like in this is like, it's not like BTS, Blackpink, Twice, groups like that. So, cause the same thing happened to CLC, right? It's a group that has been going on for years, but I know, but yeah, that's what I didn't want G-IDLE to become, right? I was afraid of that. So the fact that they come back with this gives me hope, they have faith in the group and the members.
I want to maybe say one thing to the Everglow comparison you made earlier. I think there's a difference there because Everglow doesn't really write their own songs and produces their own songs. So it's more the company deciding on who gets the lines and not the members. And I actually am kind of on the fence with Yohua and Everglow because I actually don't like the way they do it. I actually think it's not...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I understand why they do it. It's not that, because my bias in Everglow is on that. And I really, like, bro, they should let that girl do her thing in there. Yeah. So that's why, I don't know, like, I-DLE right now is on the really, really right path. Like, if they stay that way, I think their next stage in their career is gonna be even bigger, right? They have more fans. So, yeah, I think they're doing a great job with that. Which is really weird for a group that just lost a member, like I said. Like, usually that doesn't happen. So I was really, really scared. Do you think they're gonna, I don't think they wanna do that, but you never know. Like in the future, they might bring like a new member. Do you think that could be like,
no way. No way.
I just say, I know.
They can't. I don't want to see that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because you never know. Like in reality, you never know, right? Like, but I don't think they're gonna do that. But you never say never.
It is Cube Entertainment, so you never know. I don't know.
But I think they're too old by now. I think new members would be too young in comparison, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure. If they do that, unless they bring like someone from that was like in other group to join. Maybe you never know. Like,
I don't know.
I'm not saying that they should do that, but I would not be mad if they do that. If it's like a member that has been in another group, I think it could work. Like, I don't want them to do that, of course, but it's better to bring someone that already, has been like, has the experience as to bring like someone young and new. I think that is, I know worse, but like really hard. Because then you have like this clash of maybe people will like it, maybe people don't like it. So, I don't know.
I feel like in that aspect that I feel like they shouldn't add another member because they had another member already, like in Jjan, and I feel like if they add another member, it's like who's like the sixth member? And I feel like as 5 members, they're still shining. Like they don't need more. Like if they lost one, I don't think they need to add one. If that makes sense. Like, true. I think, of course, Jjan played a big part in idol songs. Like when I hear idol songs, I can recognize when Jjan it comes on in the song. And I like with this comeback, I feel like if Jjan was there, she'd be also perfect for the role. Like I haven't seen the dance covers that some idols do. I think it's on Studio Chim too or whatever. But it's like a solo thing, and Jjan has done one or I don't know how many.
Like Artist of the Month.
Yeah, so I feel like this concept is good for Jjan, like in my head, but sadly,
bro, with that hair that she has, that'll be cool. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that you never know, right? Mm-hmm. Like you never know, because maybe if she would have stayed like in the group, maybe they wouldn't do this kind of comeback. Right? I don't know. Maybe.
I've also heard that like with songs like or comebacks or whatever that Soyeon I think Soyeon said she like thinks of like is it summertime, wintertime, fall time, whatever, and then she'll be like, oh, so it's summertime, so maybe I should make a summer song. Or it's wintertime, I should make a winter song. Yeah, so I think that's how how Soyeon comes up with like songs, like title songs. I don't know if it's title songs, but songs in general. So, yeah.
I mean, we have someone that can tell us.
I actually think title track, I agree for sure. At least roughly, right? Like sometimes maybe not, sometimes a bit different. I think her solo Beam Beam was very summer-esque, but I think it was like September or something when it came out. I don't know. It was very late summer, almost fall. So she kind of extended summer in a way. But for B-sides, I think they're similar to other groups. Like, for example, Dreamcatcher, I'm not sure if you're familiar with their songs and B-sides. They're very different, their B-sides, I think, to the title tracks. So I think they just experiment a lot in B-sides. Like, normally, though. Like, I would say this album is actually a big exception, which I was surprised at.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. But one thing I don't like, for me, B-sides is like, sometimes I don't know why the company sometimes like chooses like a song and says, this one is the one that we are gonna like have the music video, promote, that kind of stuff. Because sometimes B-sides are better. I mean, I understand why they do it, because you want like a catchy song first. You want like to do like this whole, cause I feel sometimes I hear B-sides and I'm like, I don't know how this will work. So, like in a music video, so people, cause they always trying to get like, of course, fans, but their job is to bring new fans, of course, to expand. So, in this comeback, they wouldn't go with Bag as their main. I think it would have worked the same.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's better, but I think it would have worked the same. So, and did they, wait, hold on. Did Soyeon, did she write, I mean, she wrote these two songs?
She wrote Tomboy, that's for sure. She also produced it. Same for My Bag. And she did, I think, 2 more songs. And then there were 2 Oogie and 2 mini songs on the album as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw, because I reacted to
She's
the audio
going crazy.
snippet. And I think one song I saw was composed or written by Wookie. It was one of the last songs in the album. And going back to what Johnny is saying, is like I was also thinking like if Tomboy is like in terms of G-Idle's album, if it's like considered the title track, because I haven't heard like the full songs of all the songs of the album. But there's some songs that I heard in the audio snippet that I'm excited to listen to. And I don't know, like maybe like you guys have heard more of the songs. If you can judge or say like if you think Tomboy is the title track or not.
Or like the best choice of a title track, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was thinking about this a lot while Johnny was talking about it too. I think some groups these days, rather than choosing the most catchy song, they try to choose the most polarizing song. Sometimes for concept, sometimes because of the message in the lyrics. So I think Tomboy is actually that type of song. I think it's just ironically super fitting for Korean society right now. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there's some kind of gender and feminism war going on in Korea. It's kind of crazy where a lot of anti-feminism people are there. And this song kind of serves as, fighting against the anti-feminism. So for feminism, I guess. And I think sometimes those reasons could also be the reason why a song is a title track.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that's true. I was like, I mean, if you are talking like in this moment, I feel like Tomboy was the best choice for the music video. But what I really want, and I hope, is that groups start banding what they do, like with their singles. Even if they don't drop, like, you don't have to drop a mini album, but if you drop like one music video and it's like your comeback, why? Like, I don't think I have heard a group that have done it, but like maybe you could go with a ballad song for that. I know that's not going to work.
Oh, it happened.
What group?
Red Velvet.
If that happened, that's
very.
But it's really weird, right?
Yes.
Like it's really weird too. But I feel like sometimes, I mean, it's because I like those kind of songs, to be honest. But like, I really want to hear more of their voices, right? Instead of I know that wouldn't work because it's not like something you will be hyped for, if that even makes sense. Like, how can you promote something like this to be like, it's really difficult. So, but I really want them to approach something like that, maybe. Like, they could do they could do anything at this point. Like, it doesn't surprise me anymore. With this concept that they did, it doesn't surprise me, at what they can do. Yeah, they went, I'm telling you that, I was watching the music video, I was like, how does this happen? Like, I want to know the inside of, hey, we're going to do this. And and everyone's going to be, it's really cool to see them do this. And I really like that the song is called Tomboy as well. The lyrics has a really, really great message, right? And he actually fits it. Like, who would have thought that this will actually be something that, that people will be excited about, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're actually a tomboy girl, something like that, it would be cool to have a song like this. I mean, my experience, right?
For sure. I feel like it's like fighting a little bit for minorities. Even if it doesn't want to, I feel like it kind of gives those people a song, to like feel their emotion that they're fighting for, basically.
Yeah.
Also,
it helps.
One thing I just got reminded of, Johnny, while you said that, the lyrics in Tomboy, they're going back to the rap part of Soyeon there. It is full English, right? That's the one thing I'm a bit confused about because that's atypical for her, I think. But at the same time, a lot of people have been speculating what it means, what she's talking about. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard the uncensored CD-only version of that song, because there's actually a few things that changed in the lyrics. Became kind of 19 rated, let's just say that.
I bet.
Yeah, especially the Soyeon rap changed a bit. And if you look at those lyrics, maybe you can do it later. You will think about it maybe as well, but some people are saying that she's talking about all of the accusations that Jjan got earlier when she was in those scandals. So she got accused of a few things like the bullying, but also about like going out with a lot of guys and stuff like that and smoking cigarettes. So she's actually talking about all of those things kind of in a way in that rap. So some people are like speculating maybe she's kind of throwing shade in a way.
Yeah, right. I mean, now that I will have to like listen to them. But if that is even like the case, the fact that she's like putting them in this like on the cover, right? It makes it even like better because it makes it like more personal, right?
Yes,
and when you have like you have something that if you manage to do that, I think like, see, this is so many little things that sometimes when you hear a song and it clicks you, it's because all these things like add up, right? Like you don't think about it when you hear it, but when you start like searching and you know, you're like, oh, that's why this song is so good, you know?
Yeah.
Because like even without the explicit like the 19 or the CD version of the song, even in the lyrics, I hear like her talking about like dick, like ding dong or something like that. So when Timo, you're talking about like the accusations, I didn't know the whole thing with Jjan. I just knew about the bullying thing. I didn't know about the going on dates and smoking cigarettes. I didn't know about that. But now that you're talking about it, I hear it in the just like the regular version that she talks about smoking cigarettes and a lot of like sexual stuff. So like now that I hear that, it makes more sense that she used those lyrics in her rap. But at the time I was reacting and I was like, did she really just say that? And then Minnie, I thought at one part she said like, suck my toe or look at my toe or something like that in the beginning.
Look at my toe.
Look at my toe, yeah.
Yeah, I like in the lyrics aspect, I didn't know the whole like situation with Korea and the anti-feminism thing. So now that I know that, now I think this is like a great song for like a title track because like the music video speaks a lot and the title of the song speaks a lot and the lyrics speaks a lot too. So now that I hear more things, now I know that's like a good title song for a comeback. And I also said before everything dropped that this comeback from Jjan is going to be like a legendary thing because like they hadn't come out with something new in a long time because of the Jjan thing and they were
over here.
Yeah, so I was saying that like everyone's been practicing their craft, like even like Shuha, whatever, they were practicing their craft for this comeback. And I don't know if I guessed correct, but I think they did like do something big with this comeback. So, and for next comeback, I don't know what they're going to bring because like you guys said, it's completely different. Like it could be something completely different because Soyeon always changes like their styles of sound. So I'm excited to see what they come up with next, but I still need to listen to the other B-sides, especially My Bag, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, so Johnny, you have heard the full album, I assume?
Yeah.
I'm like kind of curious about your opinion on this since you have heard the full album. Were you like initially a bit like disappointed in the album comparatively to the other albums, or did you like instantly think it was amazing?
I always like because when I like usually when I do like when I hear full albums on groups, I always have like this mindset in my like I don't compare like albums to others like in the same group. I usually take the album as what they were trying to do with the comeback or concept and how they portray like in the full album. Like if the album, all the songs like feel like they go into the same, like they are connected in the sense that, okay, this feels like a complete album. This is what they wanted to do. Then I really liked it. I'm really, really surprised by what they did in the album. I wasn't expecting most of the songs that I heard. I was like this is really different. Like, this is really, the lyrics are really cool as well. But if I have to compare to the other albums, I could feel why people could be 50-50 in this one. But for me, this was like a really good win. I really like this album. It feels more, I don't know, because like I said, they had like the other member that they had, right? But I don't know, for me, this feels the most personal album for them. Like, it feels like they really, I'm talking not about the lyrics, but I'm talking like they really took really seriously. If that could be like a thing that you could say, like, they really wanted to put they all out on this one. Like, if you hear like some of the tracks, I was really surprised at how many lines, like I said, Yuki, which is my bias, I was like, man, I'm hearing her voice so much. I'm like, yes. And I was like, the members, bro, the way that they, so good. So this album for me, yes, but I can see why maybe people won't like the album. Cause it's really, really different from what they have done. But we have to keep reminding that this is a group that could have been disbanded. So I think they are trying to get back into it. That's what I feel. So for me, I like the album. I feel it's really good.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the song, but there's one song that I like, but like, I don't have the album here. Let me see. Cause there's one song in the album that I didn't love. But it was the way the mix that they use, like the whole instruments that they were using. I was like, this is not for me. Yeah, I don't have the album here.
I think,
there's only one song.
I think the main concern some people have about the album is that there's a lot of English lines. Most songs
for sure.
Almost majority English, so it's kind of surprising, whereas the Korean feels more like the filler rather than English is the filler. And I think that's just, I mean, it's very different. You're right about that. I think it's just a very big curveball too. Like, if you compare it to the collective discography of I-DLE before, which they were very focused on Korean lyrics.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I see why maybe people would be like 50-50 with the album. I like it because of that same reason that I feel they are trying to do something new, right? Cause if it really feels that way. And just like the Blackpink album that they have like a lot of English stuff in it. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. I personally, like, I don't mind it if it feels K-pop, right? If it feels like in the, it feels too if it feels too Western, I'm like, okay, so I didn't feel that, like, the songs, they have a lot of like English lines and lyrics, but I don't feel like it takes away from the group. So that's why I don't, but I can see why, like, it's really different. The album's really different. It's actually really, really, different. So I can't wait when Byron, like, hears the album. I don't know if he's gonna like it or not. So
when I listened to the audio snippet, there was, like I said, there's some songs that I was really intrigued by the little snippet that I heard. I don't know the names. I forgot the names at the moment. But I haven't heard the album yet, but I do want to listen to the album. Like, I keep saying that I'm gonna react to like more B-sides, just the lyric video, but I haven't done it, but I will get around to it. Don't worry. But especially for my bed, cause I feel like I need to listen to that song or react to that song.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I just always be waiting for like a dance practice, choreography, perform, whatever video that I just kind of like, cause I do like react to other groups as well. And, I mean, I will listen to my bag. Don't worry. I'll probably might be the Monday reaction, but yeah, I'm excited to listen to
what
the
do you
album,
think
though.
what do you think that will be like, talking about the English stuff? Do you think that will take away from your experience of it? Do you think it would be like, or you don't mind it? Like when you have, like,
myself?
now that you have like that, yeah, like now that you know that the songs like have a lot of like, English, do you think that's gonna take away from you, like, the experience? Or do you think it won't feel like idle?
I don't know, because like I like, of course I would like to have more English lyrics so I can understand the song, but K-pop is like K-pop for a reason. So I feel like it should have more Korean lyrics than English lyrics. Like, so when I hear it, like I'm bad with lyrics as it is, so I might not even know it's like English or Korean or whatever. But
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm definitely intrigued to listen to it. Like, after I do listen to it, I'll let you guys know my feeling. I'll definitely react to all the songs. But by the way, is there a song I should look out for, like, in the album, besides the two that we've been talking about?
Oh, I think there's two more that I think are pretty interesting. I think Villain Dies is one of them, which is the third track on the album. And Liar is the other one, which is an Oogie written song. Mm-hmm. And some people say it could also be a title track type of song.
Okay.
And
that is one of the songs that's really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they really have a lot of styles in this one, I feel like. But maybe if they stay, okay, it will be a problem if they decide to go that way, right? Like, if now all the albums that they drop or like MVs have like a lot of English line, then it could be like,
Yeah.
But it could be for the members or the company. Do you think it's the members or the company that?
I think, because I know like Soyeon does a lot of the lyric writing as well, and I've like, from hearing Tomboy, I know I can't be like always comparing songs, but I have to, because this is what I hear. Like, you guys know Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's the part in the song that reminds me of like hers. I don't really listen to Billie Eilish, but from what I've heard, it's like has a similar feel. So when I think of like I-DLE making songs, Soyeon making songs, I feel like she has like the Western kind of like thinking when coming up with songs that influence. So I feel like that's why the lyrics are starting to turn to English instead of like Korean lyrics, which I would rather have it be Korean lyrics, because like I said, K-pop, Korean pop, so
yeah,
I feel like it should be mostly Korean, but I feel like groups are starting to cater to the English, or to like the worldwide audience, that they are using English lyrics to make it easier for the listener to understand the lyrics, which I understand, because of course I want to hear and know what the English or what the lyrics mean. But at the same time, like I said, K-pop. So I feel like Korean lyrics should be the main thing and not like the sub thing.
So there's actually kind of like the conspiracy theory that they only wrote this whole album for the Kpop Flex concert in Europe in May. That's why there's so much English. That's, by the way, just a joke. I don't think that's actually true. Literally one concert, but that's kind of what people are clowning about and trolling. But I think what Johnny said could be a good like factor, whereas this is kind of like a style choice, like almost as if the whole album is an idea, and after this idea is over, they're just gonna go back to the more Korean style again and do something else again, right? Another idea, maybe.
Yeah, well, and now that you talk about the concert, I feel like maybe they are catering to that. Like, when I hear other people's like perspectives, I have like a near perspective. So like when you're talking about there's like a Europe tour coming up soon, I'm like, oh, maybe they are trying to like cater to like a English like crowd, or like the English speaking crowd. So
yeah, but it's not really a tour, so that's why it's more a joke. I assume it's like just a festival, and they probably performed like 5 songs, so I doubt that they actually wrote a whole album for that.
But I do hope that they go back to like just like mainly Korean lyrics, because like I said, like I would rather have it be Korean lyrics than have it just like English and a little bit of Korean sprinkled in.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think especially for the rap parts, this is like an important thing for me personally. Whereas I'm like a big rap fan and hip hop fan. It's actually what I mainly listen to aside from K-pop. And I really like the way, especially Soyeon did it, whereas she rapped in Korean and used certain English phrases or like words to rhyme really well with Korean. And she had like this really cool mix between that. And I feel like on this album, it's kind of the opposite, where she like has English lyrics and just kind of rhymes with Korean a little bit, which feels weird. It just doesn't feel very K-pop, to be honest.
Yeah, that's why I felt with the lyrics. Sorry, John, but with the lyrics, with the Soyeon's Tomboy lyrics, that's why it kind of like shocked me in a way, because I know like Soyeon's like facial expression is like super like can be super vulgar at times, and like her lyrics kind of speak for it sometimes too. But when I listen to previous idol songs and Soyeon's rap, like Timo said, it definitely has that like in terms of the rap, where like she rhymes really well. But I feel like in this one, of course, like she rhymed more with the English lyrics than anything. So, yeah.
I think it was meant to be that way, because I feel like I'm taking this comeback of them as like not like debut, but more like starting a new chapter for them. And I think they wanted to attract like more people and then start doing what they usually do, you know, the more Korean traditional songs. But like I said, the album doesn't feel to me like it's not in there. Like there is no one song that I can hear like, oh, that's not K-pop, which happened to me in a lot of groups. Sometimes I hear a song like they are trying way too much to go Western, and I didn't feel that in this comeback or the whole album. So as long as they say like that, it could be, you know, it could be good. Because sometimes having like English here and there, I mean, for us, of course, that we understand, like it's better, like you can sing more, that kind of stuff. But if they stay like that, because I've seen a lot of groups that have like, let's say BTS. I heard like the members were like not happy because they were having like a lot of English, and they were saying like they are losing what makes them BTS, right? They are Korean. So I don't think they're gonna have that problem because, let's face it, they are not like a really huge group. But if they are trying to like go for more people, I can respect that. Like at least I can know why they are doing it. And for Soya, I don't know. I want to see more of her and like, I know she's really good at rapping, right? But I want to see the other side of her, and see what cause the only thing I don't like about Tomboy is I think it was one line that she says when she ended the rap. It was like the last verse of that part. It kind of felt like off. Like, I don't remember the part. She was talking about
Do you mean like if you get the song, you know what I mean? Tomboy line?
No, it was like, oh my gosh, what was it? It was like, she was talking about a guy and then she says something. I know
was it the
like
ding dong part?
Whatever.
Was it the ding dong part?
The what?
Ding dong.
No.
Was it in the beginning or near the end?
No, it was like at the beginning of the song.
Okay.
Like when I like the first time that I heard that part, I was like, but it's those things that when you hear the song more and more, because sometimes when you like react to something, I don't know if that happens to you guys, you like really like the song because stuff, but it's not when like you hear it yourself, like really loud and stuff, you're like, oh, okay. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the songs that you don't like catch. So with Tomboy, that happened to me. When I was listening on my own, I was like, damn, man, this song is really good.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I have.
And I know that your bias is Soyeon, but do you have like another member that is always like there crushing you?
All of them,
bias
yes,
record. Bias record.
Absolutely. All of them. I mean,
yeah.
It feels like every era is someone else, every comeback, because in this comeback, actually, the member that stood out the most to me in the music video, at least, and maybe on stages too, was Mion. I actually think she looks incredible, and yeah, she's kind of my wrecker, I guess, for this comeback. Generally speaking, probably my biased wrecker was actually Jjan, so yeah, there's that.
Man, imagine her expressions on this comeback. Oh my gosh,
that's what I'm saying.
Because I remember you guys probably saw this. The oh my god performance that they did. They had like the chains, all that kind of stuff. They had like the wait, what's that one? Yeah, okay. I'm confused with Lion. And
the one that they
she was sitting on,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So thinking about that and seeing this, I'm like, she would have destroyed this comeback for sure. It'll be so good. But do we know if she's gonna do more music?
She should. I definitely feel like she's gonna sign with someone. I don't know who it's gonna be, or maybe she just goes solo, like have her own company or whatever. But I definitely feel like I keep going back to this, but Secret Number, Denise, like she's left too. And I know she's going solo because she has to, like, I've already said this, like she needs to go solo because she needs her voice to be heard. But for Jjan, I feel like she's already established who she is. Like she can dance, she can sing, maybe rap. I haven't really heard her rap, but maybe she can rap too. But I definitely know she has a really good stage presence. So I definitely feel she should continue to make music. Which I think she will be, because I know a lot of fans are wanting and waiting for her to make a solo. So
I think it's gonna be probably tough for her for now. Of course, she has to kind of wait until everything is like done with the investigation, because it's still not over. And at the same time, I also, from her like behind the stage behavior, she's a very, very shy and conservative person. So I would probably never see her go make her own company or something. I don't know. She probably needs a bit of luck that anybody is like really interested in her from like big companies, because she's a risk, I would assume, for companies.
So
There
is a I don't know if you guys know the singer, but Erin Beck. She's like like when she first debuted, she was like super shy, and I think she's still super shy right now and quiet. Like if you hear her talk and not sing, it's like sounds like a baby talking, But she has her own company, and she has like a similar thing with Jjan. I don't know if it's like similar, like the same, but I know that she's like really shy too and quiet. But she has her own label, so that's why I was thinking maybe she can start one too. But of course, she needs to like finish the investigations need to be done and everything. But I definitely feel she can start her own company. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I think it can be a possibility.
Yeah. I think the one thing that holds her back a bit from going back to like her skills, I guess, I feel like she's a really, really good dancer, of course. I mean, that's her main role. And she can sing very well. She has like a very unique tone. I personally think she would like compare to other female solos as kind of a weaker vocalist. A lot of female soloists have incredible voices on top of their dancing. So I have a tough time figuring out how she would look like as a soloist, honestly.
Okay.
The only comparison I have in mind maybe is like a Hannah or something, who is like very performance focused.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I don't know if she goes solo. Like I love and I would love like more idols to be like a solo artist, but I don't know why it always happens this way. But when they choose like the songs or the way that they're gonna approach like their debut as a solo artist, most of the time these songs are like good, but it feels like not like 100% what they can do. Sometimes they even like dance less, or they sing like they sometimes, you know, if you're a great singer, sometimes they don't even like reach high notes. Like they go for the safer route instead of like trying to do what they actually want to do. So that's why I love what was the new song there? Yu that from Gfriend. Her solo, her beauty, that song is freaking amazing, and it feels like her. So if she wants to do a solo, I think if she's like, I haven't seen much of her like, you know, backstage stuff, but she's really shy. Maybe she should embrace that, like maybe that would be one of the things that people will like about it, right? And you don't have to go like really crazy or insane or something like that. Maybe that could be something that she could use to have like, you know, like her face in. But I don't know if because I don't see, like I said, I haven't seen much of her, like, you know, backstage with the other members. But if she's really shy, it could be difficult. And for the other company, like, and label, like with this, like whole thing happening, I could see why they would be like, I don't know if we should like sign this. Like, it's a really tough situation for her, right? Yeah. Unless she had like an extremely insane voice, the company would be like, no, we need you here. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Hopefully, yes. I don't like when idols like their career like is over. I don't like that because they work so hard and just to everything go away that you don't want, that you don't have time. Like I can't imagine you being a group, not being a group, and then stay like that, right? It could be really, really, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'll deal with that. Yeah. That's why, and they are young as well. So if you think about it,
I think there's a lot of, like, this is a very long topic, because if we talk about how young they are and what happens after their career, there's a lot of like very, very small artists and trainees that never get to debut, even though they try for years. A lot of artists that debut and just doesn't work at all. Whatever, right? There's like hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, that over the career of K-pop, since it exists, we have never even heard about. So, those people are also like committing their whole life, even their childhood, everything, to training for that, and it doesn't work, and you're like, now what? I don't have any like education. I don't know anything about life, right? It's tough, man.
And not to throw like shade or something, because I always have like this debate. I really like, just for like weird career, I really, really don't like Western music. Like I used to love it. I used to love like, let's say Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez. I used to like that old music because it feels like, so that was, when I started K-pop, that was one of the things that, because K-pop now is really huge, and I don't want them to become that, like change what they are. So I feel like with all these members that sometimes, I mean, those idols that never debuted, or like most of this time, those girls or boys, they have extremely, like they have more talent than really big names, right? And it's really sad to see it that way because it doesn't work in a group. Like maybe they don't, like, you know, just because you don't work well in a group doesn't mean you can work. Like, so it makes it more difficult because you don't know if you are not that good, right? Like you will feel like, oh, maybe I'm not that great then. So it's really sad. So that's why I think it's even worse for someone that already debuted, already was in a group, and then all that is gone. Man, I don't know how, I don't know how I feel about that. Cause imagine, like, let's say me, for example, like having all these stories, right? Like I'm a chef, so I've been studying a lot and I always like reading books. And when I became a chef, like officially, I was like, can you imagine what would happen if I like F that up and then I lose that? Like that would be, I don't know what would I do. Like, man, I spent all this time and now it's like just like that. So I could feel why, you know, I mean, I'm not comparing cooking with dancing and singing.
No.
But it's really, really, like it's really easy for someone to talk about, it's okay if she's not in the group. Oh, it's okay. But man, do you put yourself in those shoes? It's really sad. And this happens a lot as well. So, like Denise with Secret Number, the same thing. I mean, we don't know exactly, but I think she would have preferred to be a little bit bigger and then go solo. You know, just, so now she has to like envision her career as a solo artist. And she's really young as well.
She's the youngest one. It
will all depend on the company, right? That signs her, I believe. Like,
didn't she also come from America? Like, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, she is Korean, but I think she was in America for a long time, right?
Yeah. She's living in Korea still now too. So I think because isn't Soren signed with like a solo label or something from CLC?
Yeah, in America. I
feel like Denise might sign there because like she's been doing videos with like, I feel like people from that company or something. Like some people from America she's been collabing with a lot.
Oh, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she might be like maybe going that route. But yeah, I was gonna say with the topic that we're talking about, that the whole reason I got into K-pop was like to like see how, like, to know how hardworking becoming an idol is. Like whenever I even when I watch like behind the scenes, I'm like, bro, what am I doing, yo? Like these people are making videos about like making vlogs before they perform, like instead of sleeping. Like what the, like I'm not doing, I'm just watching. I'm sitting here watching like a behind the scenes episode.
Yeah.
So like they give me so much inspiration in myself. Like, yo, like do something, man. Like be hardworking. Cause like every idol, I'm saying like any like person that's becoming a K-pop idol or any K-pop idol that's already an idol, like mad respect. Cause like it takes so much effort to become an idol. And once like you said, like you guys said, like it could take forever for you to debut. That's why I love when seeing groups debut, because like we get to see them actually like see what they're made of. And when they win an award, it's like I see them like crying, and I know, okay, like now we finally did it. Even like when they first debut, like when they first debut, they do their V Live or whatever, or first showcase, they're always like crying or super emotional. But I get that, because like they've been practicing for like since they were like kids, and now they're able to debut, to perform for everyone, and it's their dream. So like, that's like actually why I became a fan of K-pop. Like I'm also like a big hip hop fan. So like besides K-pop, I listen to everything like in terms of like that's Korean. Like there's a lot of ballad songs that I really like in Korean, and stuff like that too. So, and like I do listen to Western music too, but like more hip hop stuff. So that's why, like, but with K-pop, I didn't expect myself to like K-pop, to be honest. But after seeing what everyone goes through to become like a K-pop idol, I was like, I'm mad respectful for them, or to them.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
So I have a question for you.
Actually, can I interrupt you?
Mm-hmm.
Can we maybe make a little break and like cut this out?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I gotta go toilet, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, cut.
Yeah, like I usually don't like hear full albums of groups unless like I really want to. So this, because Seattle for me is like they should be bigger than they are right now. That's one of those groups that I wish they were like extremely huge, because they really deserve it.
Yeah, I think like it's like similar with like YouTubers. Like when they stop making content, people stop following them. So I think that's similar with G-Idle, because G-Idle, like we've been talking about, they haven't posted in like a year or come out with something, except for like solo stuff. But as a group, they haven't come out with anything in a year or longer. So I think a lot of people are like, just like the common K-pop fan is probably just like, don't even recognize G-Idle anymore. So that's why I feel like G-Idle's like not necessarily going down, but they haven't really built like a higher fan base or whatever. Because they haven't posted.
I think that, and that's what I was going to talk about. Like, I don't know if it is just me, but I feel like the companies needs to start changing the way they do comebacks and they promote, because it's getting like it's really the same thing over and over. Because okay, you have a group, have a comeback, they do their live performance, they do the V live, these interviews, maybe some shows, and then silence, and then a new comeback, the teaser. So it's always like this kind of stuff, and I feel like I feel like people want to see the group, right? The girls, the boys doing like all this stuff. Like, just show people what they want. It's not difficult. They're always recording a lot of stuff. So I feel like, why don't you like record the progress and just upload it to YouTube? I'm betting a lot of groups, especially new ones, right? They usually do this at the start and then they stop, like Secret Number. Like, they used to be so active and now it's like, nope, nothing new. So I feel like that happened with I-DLE. After a few comebacks, I think they started to go like really low in the production, the like how many videos, how many lives they were doing by that time. So, like I said, we have short span. Like, sometimes I feel like a new group is coming back. I'm like, didn't they go? And when I look, like, last combo was like 1 year ago, and like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about it. So I hope they don't do that. But that's why I sometimes I feel like in K-pop they should start innovating again, like how they make the comebacks, the teaser. They need to change that thing up. This is getting really, really old. I mean, I don't know if for you guys, at least for me, I think they need to start changing.
So, Timo, we were talking about, cause I was, thinking G-Idle similar to like YouTubers, cause like they haven't posted in a while, like a year or so. And I feel like with YouTubers as well, when people don't post for a long time, people just kind of forget about you. And I feel like in terms of G-Idle, cause they haven't posted in a year, that like a lot of the normal like the regular just K-pop fans are kind of don't like have like just been pushed away from G-Idle just because they haven't posted. And we're just talking about that.
I think actually there's an interesting paradox on there, because if you compare this to a release cycle like Blackpink has, where they literally wait for ages until they come back, literally. I feel like that kind of creates more hype almost for the group. Sure, it probably is a 50-50, so some people will just be like, oh, I don't want to wait anymore, goodbye, I'm just going to move on to another group. But I think some people actually become even more hyped about it as well. And put extra effort into like streaming them when they come out with the album, and like just, die hard fanboying or fangirling basically. So I think I think it could go both ways. I definitely don't prefer it though, to wait like a long time and between comebacks. But I think especially I-DLE has like a unique case where they have been active for 4 years almost, but roughly half of those 4 years they didn't have time to do anything, or like they couldn't put out another music video because the 1 year and 3 months now with the Jjan thing obviously blocked them. And then before that they were on Karina, right, for like 4 or 5 months or something in 2019. So those two things is like almost 2 years together, which is like half their career. So that's quite a lot of time. But
like with the comeback stuff, like you mentioned Blackpink, but I feel like because it feels like it's a race, right, for these K-pop groups. Like, okay, new groups debut. There's a lot of groups debuting. It feels like they're in a race to like grab the attention, like, you know. But I feel like with groups like I-DLE, it actually, I think it hurts them to have this long wait. Because if you like, let's say Blackpink, to be honest, they could take 5 years and they come back and they're gonna do it the same well. Like, to be honest, because they are really, really, and they did that. Because I remember when Blackpink debuted, they were really active. I remember they released those 2 music videos, almost at the same time than the third one, and they were doing a lot of live performance. So then they start like, you know, yeah. So because they went like so big that they could actually do that, right? And it creates like this hype. Let's say Blackpink haven't like done anything new in a really long time. They drop tomorrow a teaser, everyone's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? But with a lot of K-pop groups, that's not the case. So I feel like it actually hurts them to have like this long wait. Like say, like we were talking about like Secret Number, it's happening to them as well. Like they are taking so much time that like hype actually goes down. So with I-DLE, that's why I want them to have like another comeback this year, to have like this strong year, you know, like ending with a really, really strong like year. And I think that actually can be better for them, because I don't know how many years they are gonna be, you know, doing this.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they are like 4 years, then 5 years, it's actually like in K-pop 4 years is considered like not like long time, but you are not like a rookie. So you have like the experience now. So it will all depends on that. So I feel like they are doing a really good job, and I hope it stays that way. And for the members as well, because I'm sure they want to perform more, sing more. You know, it's always better for them. But, the question I was going to ask you is about the Jjan stuff, the allegations. I kind of find it really weird because it's like the Asian culture in a way, because we are not used to see that type of behavior in idols, right? And when we see something or hear something that an idol do, you're like, whoa, wait, really? But if you think about it, they are humans as well, and they have like the way that they want to do. Like, I'm not saying if it is good or bad. So do you think that she should, like, let's say Soyeon is like, she likes to smoke, I don't know, was hanging out with a lot of guys or something like that. Don't you think that's more like personal, as long as she's not doing anything bad or something, or doesn't like intervene with like the career of her or something like that? Don't you think that it's supposed to be something that maybe we should be like, maybe more idols shouldn't be so afraid to be who they are, right? Because in Western music that happens a lot. Like, you see these girls and even with the music video, like, whoa, I don't want to even think what you do in your private life. So I feel like it shouldn't be that way, but I understand why, you know, it's really shocking. Even when they reveal like more like their clothes and stuff, like it's more revealing. People are like, wait, what is happening? I'm like, have you seen Western music video? They don't wear clothes. Like, it's crazy.
True.
So I was gonna ask you if you think that could be a problem for her, like,
going forward into the future, or
into the future,
Okay, can I answer, or do you want to say something, Byron?
Oh, Timmy will go.
No.
I think there's another thing I can bring into this discussion really quick, and then compare those two a little bit. And actually, it's about Soyeon. So Soyeon kind of had like a minor scandal recently. I don't know if you guys heard about this. There was a girl group survival show called My Teenage Girl. It's for a new girl group under MBK Entertainment, which for reference is Tiara, for example. which is not a good thing. But anyway, they're called Classy, I believe. They're going to debut soon. And that show in the final had a stage that Soyeon produced because she was one of the judges. And the production was very similar in the chorus to an 80s song. And a lot of fans of 80s were actually kind of upset about it, and it had a whole kind of fiasco about it. Essentially, people are claiming that she copied Wave of 80s, the song. And even though, they went through the whole apology thing and everything, it still remains a thing that will forever be mentioned. Whenever any hater wants to hate on Soyeon, they're always gonna bring up that copy, claim. And I believe the same thing will always happen for Soojin as well, and for other idols like Hyuna with the dating scandal in a way, or others before. It's like, if an idol is not perfect, it's like, it will always be brought up by people that want to find fault in people, right? I think this goes also back to what you said earlier about the cultural difference in Korea compared to Western world.
Yeah.
I feel like idols used to be always perfect, and that's why if an idol is not, they're compared to every other idol, which the majority and most idols are perfect on the surface at least. So I feel like it's almost a game of trying to not show your right life.
It is really difficult, right? Like, when I actually think about it, I'm like, how do they do that in a world when we have so much technology, cell phones, that kind of stuff? It's really weird. When something happens in K-pop, everyone already knows, right? Because it's not something that happens a lot. So I actually always think about, how do they do that? Man, we usually don't know anything about how they really are, right? Outside what they want to show. So maybe there's a lot of idols that are crazy or something like that. We say that, but we can judge people because we don't know and if someone wants to be that way, that shouldn't matter. So I feel like we heard, and that thing coming, there's a lot of idols that I've heard, that stuff, and I'm like, and what if it's true? It shouldn't, and it's usually the fans, right, that act that way, that it shouldn't be that the case. That maybe, someone that is not fan might judge a member or a group because they don't know. But what if someone is following you and you're there, and something comes out and you're are the first one to jump into conclusions? Then, like you say, it always stays. People will always talk about that when they want to hate. Exactly. And K-pop is really huge, but at the same time, it's really small. Because, like I say, everything that happens, everyone knows about it, right? Because it's everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, people start making YouTube videos.
Yeah, people make so many K-pop news things. So that's why, I think that's why people know about it. But a lot of people with the news channels, people don't even like the news channels. Because I've seen on Instagram, there's posts about some news, and then on the comments, I'm like, yo, I don't like this channel or something like that or whatever. But
yeah. But I think we like drama. That's why sometimes those channels blew up, because people you put a thumbnail, right? Any member, and you write something really crazy, people are going to watch the video, even though
I've never watched one of those, to be honest. I just seen the thumbnails. I never clicked on it because I don't want to watch.
Trust me, don't do it. I have wasted so many times. I'm like, oh, something happened. And I'm like, really? They talk about that person 5 seconds, and the whole video is something else.
Yeah, that's why I know some things when Timo said about the Soyeon accusation for the copyright claim of 80s. I saw that on the thumbnail of one of the news channels, but I didn't click on it, so I don't know the full story. But I heard about it. I saw someone made a thing about it. But I feel with a lot of artists, people have a lot of influence. Of course, copyright claim is bad, but I feel a lot of songs like have like some sort of influence from like another group, another song, like a Western song, whatever. Like I said with the G-Idle Tomboy, I feel with the Billie Eilish kind of comparison. So I feel like I lost my train of thought. Well, this always happens when I do podcasts.
No, I think I know what you want to say. I feel like Soyeon was probably just influenced by something she heard and didn't even remember it was an 80s song. Like, how can you remember all songs on the world that come out, especially in a world where so many artists come out with so many songs? Like, it's impossible. Yeah. So let's be honest, like, she heard a song sometime, she liked the melody and it stuck in her head, and 2 years later, she's like producing songs and she's like, oh, that melody somehow came up and I like it. Let's try that, you know. And I don't know. It's stupid that people make drama out of nothing, to be honest, but that's the world we live in, I guess.
And it's bound to happen sometime. Like you say, sometimes like you have something in your mind and you're like, it's actually not a bad thing because that's what music's supposed to do to you, to inspire you to do, you know, as long as you, of course, don't do this whole same thing. But yeah, I feel like maybe she did it because, like you said, something that could happen. It happened to me. Sometimes I hear songs. I'm like, I have heard this before, but it's not like I've actually heard. It's just like, there's so many songs and so many styles. It's bound to happen that some songs are gonna, you know, clash to each other. Like, and especially them because I feel like they listen to a lot of Western music. Maybe more than we do. So even that way, you know, you can like start, how are you going to compare something like that to this? Something that happens a lot. Sometimes I listen to songs like, I wonder if that person was thinking about this song when making it, which is not a bad thing. I mean, if the song was good, it was real received, right? And you take inspiration of it. It shouldn't be something to judge you for. It's weird. Like, I didn't know about that drama. But if it, like, it happened, like, why? It shouldn't be something, cause like I said, that damage, you know, your image in a way. Also, now people are gonna say, oh, she's gonna like, you know, oh, she's gonna copy this group. That's
exactly. I mean, I think that's always gonna happen now, though. Like, people don't forget. The internet doesn't forget. So people that really want to find fault and like, you know, hate, they will do that anyway. For reference, by the way, it was like 3 or 4 seconds in the chorus that was the same, but the rest of the song was different. So it's really just a small that was, you know, similar. Yeah. So.
I can imagine in the future. Imagine if she, like, let's say the song, the original, started saying like, I like this, and she made a song that start, I like this. Now she's copying the song. Yeah. What is happening?
Exactly. I also feel like
I get it.
A lot of K-pop idols have like their favorite artists are like Western singers. Because I know in aespa, I think aespa, what's her name? Ning Ning really likes Rihanna. Like, she is like always saying when's her album dropping and all that. So I know like people get like influence from Western music because they're fans of that music too. And like I see it like with some members or some idols, like they hear like English speaking and then they listen to it so much that they start to say it, like they start to swear a lot, but then they like make it into like a funny thing. I don't know if you guys like seen clips like that. So I definitely, like with this K-pop generation, I guess, like I know a lot of singers that are starting to debut now. They're fans of like Western music and they have their favorite singers are like Western artists. So I definitely see like with songs of K-pop, like that the Western style is like as like common, but like I feel like with this copyright claim, I feel like there's like when you make a song, there's like a lot of samples, and I feel like there's so many like samples of like other songs that I hear that like I don't know if that's like an issue. Is that really an issue though? Like,
No.
like even with like songs like Soyeon, we were talking about Soyeon, like just like 5 seconds of a song is similar, like so, like then the rest of the song is like different. So like, why you gotta? I know like a lot of haters are gonna be like, oh, this is bad because so and so, but like it's just 5 seconds of the song, so like it's not like the whole song is like the same. So
yeah, I think it all comes back to like being perfect, right? Being an idol, like being perfect. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's not my bias, but I really like her because she's one of those few idols that, like, of course she cares about what people say about her, but it's not like the first thing. Because you actually see like in Instagram her posts, the stuff that sometimes she say like in interviews, you kind of get this idea that doesn't bother her as much as maybe other idols, right? And what you say about the Western stuff, like, it's kind of like a sensitive because sometimes people don't want K-pop songs to sound like Western, but sometimes they do. But when they do, like, speaking about Tomboy, when they blurb the fucking Tomboy or fuck Tomboy or whatever, like, I really wanted them to say it in the song, right?
Yes.
Like, I know there is a lot of like, young audience, but trust me, there's a lot worse that your children is listening to that I just a word saying that, like, I get it, but if you are going to embrace that, just go all out. And I feel like they should start doing that more in Korean songs. Cause for me, my, like the best songs for me and the best concepts and the groups, I know most of the time when I started doing my reactions, people were saying, oh, it's because you are a guy and you're like hot girls or something like that. I'm like, no, it's because when those like, let's say Tiara, Miss A, all those groups, they have like really sexy concepts. The songs are really, really good, like extremely good. I'm like, it's because they like, you know, you have more liberty to do what you want. And let's be honest, they know they are like, extremely attractive and beautiful. And sometimes they want to do it. And sometimes they do that more like in the concerts. I don't know if you guys have watched Twice, latest clips that have been showing in the recent concert that they have in LA.
Over my TikTok, yes.
They went crazy, right? And that's what I'm trying to say. And people enjoy that more, but I know that there's a young audience, but in K-pop, there hasn't been something extremely like some Western, like most of the Western stuff. Yeah. So if they start leaning more into that, I feel like they have something. So for E-idol, that is a big plus. Like I said, I was not expecting that in the music video. Like when I was like, okay, this is what I want to like. It feels more like it's what they want to do. Especially, what is that? I always forget her name. I'm sorry. People are going to kill me. Minji? Is it Minji?
Mini? Or
Mini.
Oh, Mini. Okay. I'm sorry, fans. I'm sorry. I always get confused. But she went all out on this one. I was really surprised by her. Like her confidence, like everything. She usually has like this, not expression face. Like she's really like Winter from aespa. Like she's really, like when she's performing, she doesn't like have so many emotions. She's like really quiet and serious, but she's like really the opposite. So I feel like with her, she went all out on this one. I'm like, what is happening? I've never seen you do this before.
You gotta check out the Studio Chu. Like the Studio Chu, you see more if you haven't seen what I've seen.
I will.
It's crazy, man. And we need more of that. So I hope more groups start doing that. I want to see that for Secret Number as well. So buy it.
Anyway, go ahead, Byron.
I haven't, like, I've said this during the reaction to G-Idol, like, I didn't expect them to, like, say fucking Tomboy or Bleep Idol or whatever. Even in the reaction of the teaser, I was like, did they just say fucking Tomboy? Cause, like, I I also said this during like an actual reaction of one of the performances of Tomboy. Like, has any other like K-pop group or K-pop song had a swear word in it? Like,
yeah,
there has.
Yes.
Oh. I can say one big group, Blackpink, in the latest album, they went all out. I think they didn't even care if they swear or not. But yeah, there has been group that has.
I feel like it's a bit like second generation. I would say it's like the biggest generation that kind of did those.
Yeah,
I have one group in mind that's called Brown Eyed Girls. They definitely went kind of crazy often. Yeah, one thing I wanted to add to your guys is like speculation about, I guess, swear words and just being more like direct with those things. Quick spoiler, I was going to say the CD-only version, they actually don't bleep it out. So they actually say the word. And a lot of Koreans have been on the internet talking about how they much prefer the uncensored version, right? And they want them to use that as well. So maybe there's going to be like an upbringing in the Korean scene as well that, pushes that forward again.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they bleed out is because we watched like the music video, so that's like the thing that everyone's gonna like listen to. So there's a lot of like younger audience, so they're like, no. But trust me, we're seeing on YouTube and all that just because of a word doesn't like change it. But
the main reason is actually kind of stupid, I think. From what I know, the main reason is that if you have like swear words and everything, it goes against YouTube like age system, right? Mm-hmm. So I just do it to get more people to watch the music video, aka more views. That's like the actual main reason, which is whatever, I guess, but kind of.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, that do you guys remember what happened with there? Because I feel like maybe that is a great thing that didn't happen with I-DLE. Because I remember when Blackpink did the music video, the Lovesick Girls, that they completely changed because there was something with the Jennie scene that she has like a nurse outfit. I don't know if you guys know that they remove it. And a lot of people went into the girls' generation Mr. music video saying, why you change this? And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, so I feel like maybe companies don't want that, right? Like maybe they don't want that kind of trouble. Because I feel like kids tend to be more like they usually don't think like most adults, like they will and start hating or start, throwing stuff. So maybe they don't want to deal with that. So it's safer to do, okay, we are not gonna, not curse or not do like extremely, because how we gotten like extremely sexy concept like in the last like 3 years, like a really, really when the first gen, because I don't see, right? I don't think we haven't gotten anything close to the first gen.
I know a few, but they were like very, very, very small groups. Like nobody really knows. There's one group called Girl Crush. Literally, they do those types of sexy concepts, and they even had comics in 2018 and 19 and so on. But it's just not popular anymore, which is really sad.
That's the thing that is. I think maybe that is one of the reasons. Not like how it used to be before.
There was like a group that used to make music called Stellar. Like they made music that was super sexualized. But I later on realized that they didn't even, like the members didn't want to make that music. They want to make different music. But the company like made them do that because that was getting views. Yeah. So like, I mean,
as long as as the member are cool with it, right? As long as they say that the idols want, I don't have a problem. If it is the company that, because you mentioned that group and I think they have the music video, because people were telling me to react to it, and I did. The song is called Vibrato by something like that.
Vibrato.
And
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was like, when I watched that music video, I was like, hold on. People are saying, what? It was surprised me. It was like, this K-pop? This? Like, I'd never seen anything like this thing. Like, there's another group, AOA as well, which had like this, concepts. So, do you think it is not like really well known in the new age generation because they have stopped, or because there is no interest in it? Because they always seem like, sometimes, I mean, most of the time I get comments is people wanting to do a group like a sexy concept, right? Like more mature. Like it feels like like with Secret Number, there's a lot of people asking for a more mature like comeback. And I'm like, and for ITZY as well, I was like, I saw on Instagram, there was a lot of, so why if there is like it's actually really small group that they want? And I feel like if they start doing concepts like that, they could be more, like if they want to be bigger on, like worldwide, like Western audience, I feel like maybe they should try that and it will get like the boost that they want. I don't know.
I have a lot of opinions about this. I really like this concept too. And I myself am like a big fan of soloists, and a lot of soloists do like R&B music in Korea as well. So R&B, of course, is obviously a field where you can do that much more often, like the sexy concept. And I feel like it's becoming more a thing again because of K-hip-hop and Korean R&B being that big in Korea itself. But I feel like it has many reasons why it kind of died. And this is a bit controversial, maybe, but I actually think our generation is also kind of a problem in that aspect.
Oh,
where
for sure.
The whole gender thing, the whole feminism thing is much more topic. So a lot of people like pay much more attention to it. So it's much more sensitive, and you have to be careful about a lot of things. So I feel like companies just stay away from that because it's not worth it, and it creates too many risks to like slip up and like completely ruin your career, right? So I feel like it's just becoming that kind of taboo, like almost concept. So unless someone comes out of nowhere and becomes really big with a sexy concept group, then I don't really see it returning like into mainstream, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like the only group that I thought that was going to do that was Blackpink, because like they were really huge. And the latest comeback, I was like, I have this in my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I think, and I do believe next comeback that they do is gonna be like that, because I don't know if you guys seen Jennie lately post, like, Jennie needs to control herself, like Lisa, Rosie, like, hold on. So I think, I don't know, because YG has a say on that, right? Because I don't think YG will let Jennie say, okay, you have a, like, I know it's because of the, like, promotions, but the company has a say on that, of course. So if I see like the companies, like, of course they are, older now, so they can do more, like, so I feel like if Blackpink comes out with a really, really, like, sexy, mature concept, maybe other groups will be like, okay, so maybe we could try and see.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think that there's more risks than rewards in that, because it could go sideways really, really quickly. And now with that, we have TikTok, fan cams with really high quality, that people are going to be picking up, and maybe they are dancing something, like, it could be horrible. Like, I've seen fan cams, like old fan cams sometimes, and I'm like, if this was HD, like 4K, this wouldn't be up, like, 100%. So I kind of feel that is one of the points as well. Because, the memory dancing, right, in your life, and, like, most people will be, so I feel like that is one of the reasons. So, but yeah, it should be like a really big group that does it, and then the others follow. That's the only way I could see it happening.
But do you think, like, if, like, say Blackpink does do like a sexy concept and then a smaller group does that, would people go to their the smaller group and be like, you're copying Blackpink or whatever, like
No,
like
I
the
don't
copyright claim thing, like because like there are people that like even with the songs.
I haven't seen that happening with concepts as a whole. Like maybe if the song is like similar, that could be a good, but with concepts, I don't think I have seen that.
I actually think that could happen though. If Blackpink is really the only big group that does it, and like somehow smaller groups try to copy it, I think it has to be multiple bigger groups that have to try it, and then becoming like a thing again, right? Because if only one group does it, and suddenly like all of the small artists try their stuff at sexy, maybe that could happen. I could see it.
Well, if a lot of start doing, I mean, maybe you're right. Like if like I say, if a lot of groups start making all the music videos, you're like, what is happening right now? All of a sudden, all the members are like, but is it that a bad thing though? Because you have to keep up. Like,
it's not for the industry, but for the group that gets the hate, it's bad.
Oh yeah. Maybe the girls, because most of the like. But I don't like. There's too many cute groups. Like, oh my gosh! Like I hear a song, I'm like, oh my gosh, another cute concert. Oh my gosh, another cute concert. Like that's why when Everglow started, that's why I think that's why many people started comparing with Blackpink, because they had like kind of like the same vibe, like really in your face
electronic
songs.
sound.
But they did a really great job at pulling apart that. Like each comeback were more like Everglow. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but my favorite song from them is La Dida. That song is freaking amazing. And I think they should do more of that. So yeah, Everglow is on the group that could do it. I could see Everglow going all out in a concert like that.
I was actually thinking, and two more I have in mind that are somewhat like low-key sexy, and kind of have been doing it for years. I think it's Mamamoo and Dreamcatcher. I think they both have like a lot of hints, especially in their performances, where they're like not hiding it really.
Especially Dreamcatcher live, right? I've seen some clips of like. But I feel Mamamoo is the only one that we could say, right?
They're also the only mature, like sexy type of group that is kind of left,
Especially Solar with the late. Oh my gosh, Solar! Stop it!
I'm supposed to react to Honey
I don't know.
Later today, I think.
Do that, man.
Oh.
Yeah, people commented they want me to react to that, so I probably have to.
Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, I feel like maybe that is why, because of the age, right? Because we have a lot of young groups.
Oh,
so
yes.
It's kind of weird for these young groups to start doing concerts like that. I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't even know if the girls will feel like, because like I said, they know they are attractive, right? So in part of you, you're like, you want to show what you have worked for. Like I always said, because people in my channel, there's a joke that I really like, legs. Because I always like, oh, look at those legs. And I actually had to do a video and people were like really supportive. And I was really surprised because I was like, okay, the reason I always say legs is because, these girls work hard. They dance, they do exercise. You don't get those legs by being, someone lazy. It just doesn't happen unless you have like really good gym. So that's why I like to show my appreciation. It's not like, oh, look at those legs. No, it's not like that. So, and people were actually thinking the same way I was thinking. And I was relieved. I was like, okay, I don't want that too. So I feel like it could happen, and you had to open that door because, man, you have to, the live performance of back
Studio
man.
Wait, what? Okay,
you have to the back performance, man. They are killing it. Jjan did a great job with this comeback. Like I'm really hyped for what they're gonna do in the future.
I have
They did
maybe
a great job.
like another big topic to talk about. I'm not sure how big you guys think it is, but have you heard how well the song does in Korea, like charting wise and generally like the public opinion of it?
Tomboy?
Yeah, exactly, Tomboy.
No, I haven't heard too much
I actually know.
news about it.
So
I just like seeing that it has a lot of views, but I don't know the news.
Yeah.
Okay, because I could like give you some like input there because I'm usually very big on that side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
They have been charting very well. Like that's the main thing. Like right off the bat, they got I think the real time all kill today on the charts in Korea, which is being number 1 in all of the real time charts. Which, for reference, only aespa has done as a 4th gen group. Neither girl or boy group. Only aespa has done it before. So I-DLE is the only other group, which is pretty crazy. And they're still going strong. They're like currently going up against the J Park IU song, the Ganadara song. Which is like at the top right now. So, which is crazy, right? I-DLE is almost beating IU, which is, the biggest artist in Korea of all time, sure. So
well, that's a flex. Yeah.
So yeah, I-DLE is doing that and also just doing much better than before in their other comebacks. So it is actually to me very surprising, to be honest. Not just because the Jjan thing happened and they like literally just came back from the depths of hell basically and somehow did that, but at the same time, the song is like very English focused, right? And for a Korean audience to like be so focused on that is actually just shocking to me, honestly. I don't know what you guys think about that, like why that would happen maybe.
I think that goes to what we're saying about when you asked me about the album, that I truly feel like this song and like the other songs, for me, it feels more like personal for them. It feels like they wanted to make this, they really enjoy it, and you can see it. You can actually, when some, like, it's really rare when I watch a music video and I'm like, yo, they're having fun in this. Like, it feels like they want to. So I feel like, in a way, people can relate to it, right? And people know that. And when the song is actually really good and you combine all those things, I think that speaks for itself. And if they are doing that well, I mean, going against IU, bro, that's like, I will be flexing that. That's crazy. So, yeah. I feel it's because of that. I feel like they took their time and they were like, you know what? Maybe we should do what we do best and just show it. Be more ourselves. Let's break, all these stereotypics that they are actually, in songs. I love the choreo, the thing that everything about it is so good. And I think it's because of that. I think they wanted to make it like this and they were like, you know what? We should just do it and let's put our heart and soul with it. And when they do that, when like it goes well, because I remember when you mentioned with the aespa thing, I think the same thing happened. Because I was really skeptical when aespa debuted. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how is this going to, but bro, oh my gosh, they did it. And you can see that they enjoy what they're doing, right? So with the I-DLE, I think the same thing is happening and people are responding to it. So that's why I'm saying if they do another comeback this year, I think it's going to be even bigger because people are going to be like, okay, we want to see more of this. And it doesn't have to be the same concept, but just do what you love and what you like and let the members, their talent speak for itself. And I think people are seeing that. I actually think people are seeing that and they realize that, even though everything that has happened and all the break that they took, they managed to go all out and it's really rare. It's actually really rare to see that in a group.
And I think what you just said probably could happen because like aespa's Next Level was right their breakout song, I would say. And then Savage after that was actually the song that did even better in Korean charts. So it's like people are even more hyped about them now that they have that big hit. So I agree.
They should definitely do another comeback this year. It's gonna do so well for them. And I think that's gonna open more doors, to try another things, and to get by like the next chapter in their career. That's what I wanted. Like, I was really nervous in this comeback when they announced it, because I was like, oh my gosh, are they going to go with the safe it, or are they going to do with something different? And I was really surprised. I'm actually really surprised. Like, it might not be the best song that you have heard, but so far this year, it feels like the most genuine song that you can hear. I don't know if that even makes sense, but so far I feel like the most genuine song that, I don't know if it's just me. It feels that way. And it's really weird for me to say that, because I've talked about in the podcast with Byron, with groups, I am really, really skeptical every single time. I really love K-pop, but I have like my songs and groups that I like. And if it doesn't meet like those requirements, I'm like, it's good, but I don't like it. And they went all out. Like, I have been listening to the song a lot. I was like, yo, this is amazing. So I think that is helping them. And I hope they break records, and I hope because that actually helps the member as well. They boost their confidence, right? They see that people love them, that, are responding well. And the other companies can watch that as well and say, okay, maybe if we let members be more interactive in the, in the writing, in the dances, the choreos, that kind of stuff, maybe we have something more, because we have seen members that can dance a lot, and the company, restrict them, or can rap. And Soyeon is actually breaking that, and has been doing that with the rap parts, because I've seen a lot of idols saying that they really like her rap, and they take so that influence alone is something that is helping other groups, to go out. So I really like that they do. I think Secret Number, actually, with Genie and even Everglow, when they had like 2 rap parts in their song, which is usually really weird, it reminds me always of Soyeon. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, we need more rap. So I feel like that is helping.
Actually, just to add to the, I guess, Korean achievements as well, is that they already outsold their albums, like their past record, in the first few days. So it's already broken the record. And I think it's like 160,000 now. Cool. And then I think the next thing is that people predicting like a music show wins and everything. There's like Twitter accounts for that. They actually predict everything. And for the next week, it's like 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 7 almost that I-DLE is probably gonna win, because they're just so far ahead and everything. So it's looking really, really good, just the promotion cycle.
So do you think that them taking this year-long break was like a good thing? Because like maybe it helped them to like actually like hone their craft and like upgrade what they already were doing. Because like I was talking before that like maybe like fans like just forgot about G-IDLE, but it seems like G-IDLE got more fans with this comeback, and I feel like maybe the year-long break was like something like a good thing, could be a good thing, because it allowed them to upgrade their singing ability or dancing or whatever. And it shows in this comeback like that they worked their ass off, like making this comeback like something serious, and like it's showing on the charts, like, and to make like a song and the lyrics like dedicated to like what's happening in like Korea right now. I think that also plays a part too, because like a lot of Korean artists or Korean people are like listening to the song and be like, oh, like, I can kind of understand what you're saying, even though it's in English, but maybe they already understand what they're saying. So I definitely feel, I don't definitely, but I feel like maybe this year break was a good thing, just so they could come back even better than they were before.
I definitely think so, yeah. I also want to say there's another song on the album where people are speculating about a personal lyric there, which is kind of funny, but just a side note, if you want to talk about it later. But I think the break definitely helped a lot. Like, it's not, they didn't do anything, right? They all did something. So I think the only member that didn't really do anything publicly was Shuha, but we've seen like like the fandom and everything, we've seen a lot of dance covers she did. So she improved a lot in dancing. That's what she did, basically. She trained a lot. So literally what you just said, Byron, she just, improved. Probably Korean-wise as well. You never know, but I think so. And for the other members, of course, like Mion had the podcast she actually has, or like the radio show.
Oh, yeah.
She still does that. She hosts Countdown. So like her face is everywhere. She's acting. Then we have Oogie, who went to China, also had her solos, of course, which were really big.
Yeah.
But in China, she's becoming really, really freaking big. And I-DLE has always been, like, the biggest part of the fandom actually is Chinese, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
And it became even bigger now. So it helps a lot, of course. And then for the other two, of course, as well, we're forgetting Minnie. Minnie had a lot of feature and collab songs in the Thai world, I guess. Like with popular Thai rappers and like K-pop musicians. So she still was really active there as well. And then Soyeon, of course, had also her solo album. And she was on, I think, 2 or 3 TV shows, like the My Teenage Girl show where she judged, which was really big. And she was really big as well. There were like a few clips that went very viral in Korea and like TikTok and Twitter about Soyeon on the show, where she was a very, very ruthless judge to the...
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So like everybody saw that video, right? It was really big. So I think those things definitely helped a lot. So I do think so.
And it helps them. I believe that not only like the year helped them, to, I feel like the experience that they got in that year, plus the thing that was happening, plus, I imagine them deciding like, what are we going to do? What we want to do? What is the thing that because let's be honest, they knew that if they are coming back, they had to go all out, and not just because of fans, but of themselves, right? Because there is a point, I think, when, like, I feel like idols, that they want to elevate, right? They want to go outside. And yes, even though this is not like the hottest choreo, this is not like the best song, not even like their best song, but I feel like for the time and for what they did, I think it's perfect. And I remember when I started seeing the teasers for this comeback, I was like, at first I was really like nervous, but when I started seeing more posts, I was like, yo, this is not usually what they do. And I seen like, especially Soyeon, like she has been amazing, and in the sense that as a center, I think she has done her job in the group and outside the group. I don't know if I make sense, because most of the time when you think about the group, you think about like Soyeon, right? Like her charisma, and there's a few idols that can do that. Like I don't know how to explain it, and she's not the beauty standard in K-pop either. That's what surprised me the most. Like, and there's a lot of people like you. She's your bias, and I actually feel like really happy when I see like a lot of reactions and their bias is her. I was like, yes, right? And she has break all that, and all the members, I think they are doing the same thing. They're embracing like their style, because even though they have like the same outfits, you can see like some members have like this open, some members doesn't have it open. And yeah, you could say the stylist they choose, but in this one, I don't think so, because, oh my gosh, again, the name Minnie. Like I said, we heard, like, she has been taking a lot of pictures, I've been doing all this stuff, and it feels like she really wanted this. I don't know, it's really weird. So I think that's why people, again, I connecting with it. Of course the company has a say in the stylist and their makeup, but I haven't had this feel like they feel not happy with what they have. Like sometimes you can see that in the members when they perform. but I mean, so far we're all saying no.
So you're kind of saying like they found their style a bit more, right? Like their personal styles as well.
Yeah. I think it helped that break. It helped them to make. Like, I feel like we are gonna see a new group, if that even makes sense. With the same stuff that they have with the experience, but like a new path for them, which is the smart thing to do if you are like, going. Because losing a member, I can feel like that could be. I could imagine how hard it was for them, right? When you're so used to all being together and, practice, all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. This could have been so bad, and I'm glad it didn't. Because this could have been sideways. I
think,
and I'm sorry, I don't feel that it's gonna be a one-time deal. Like, I feel like it's gonna be like that going forward.
I very much hope so, yes. That's my favorite group. I just wanted to add really quickly that they also opened their Instagrams, right, in their break. So that was like a very personal space they could like develop a bit in. And I know that especially Soyeon and Oogie have a lot of photo shoots that came from that. So they're more out there in their style, and like I guess their beauty standard also kind of tries to define like that K-pop standard that is out there, right? There's like some idols like Mama Musfasa. That's why I love her so much.
Yeah.
Like trying to defy like all expectations and all like standards. And I'm seeing it more and more with a few idols, at least, like not many, but there's more idols coming out of the corner and trying to like change everything. And I definitely agree. I think Soyeon is one of those. And yeah, I sure hope that the future is, this is not just a one-time thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Soyeon.
Do you have the light stick of them?
Do you have a light stick?
Oh, yeah, I have. It's on my shelf, so you can't see it, but yes.
That's crazy.
I was going to say, like, I don't know if she is, but, like, wasn't Soyeon, like, one of the first ones to start, like, producing their own tracks and writing the lyrics and everything? Because I did, before Soyeon and also iKON BI, I didn't really see like many K-pop idols where the idol in the group was making the songs and doing the lyrics and stuff. So I feel like G-idle and Soyeon kind of like started that kind of trend, because like
I wouldn't say they started it, especially for the boy group side. Definitely not. Like, there have been more in the past that have done it. I think more often than not, the rappers for sure write their own rap, but actually like producing their own songs and doing that for the whole album and doing that like consistently, I think it's on one hand kind of a Cube thing. Cube is kind of like just not giving them attention and not giving them staff, so they have to do it. There's like another company, Playlist Entertainment, which with 17 and New East, that also did that, where those groups always had to write and produce their own songs because nobody was doing it for them. So I feel like it's more like they had to do it thing than anything else.
I think,
but
I think maybe what you meant was like
the trend.
I feel like for the new ones, right? Like, it feels like
I was saying like for the trend. Like, I feel like after like Soyeon and G-idle and iKON, because like BI was also one of those that like produced like a lot of the iKON songs and wrote the lyrics too. So I feel like those two groups, I feel like that one like kind of started the trend of like a member in their group making the songs and making the lyrics.
For sure,
it's more like personal, right? For that, yeah, because but it could be, I don't know if that could be like something that will happen a lot, because then what happens when the idol and the company start clashing, right? Because the company, of course, want like more money, want more exposure, more sales, and then like what they want to do doesn't go well with that. So I think it could be, they could definitely find like a balance to do that, but I don't feel like it's gonna start going all out, especially big companies. I don't see that happening a lot.
The one thing I definitely see happening is for new groups. Usually, how do I say this? When groups are announced and are like in pre-debut phase, where like the members are like highlighted and what they can do and what their like position is and everything, and especially in training as well, I've seen a lot of videos where like producing and writing songs becomes actually a skill and is kind of important for you to be even accepted into companies as a trainee. So like having a little bit of experience in songwriting is definitely a plus, and it's becoming more and more the norm. I think Denise, for example, from Secret Number was like one of those cases where she had a lot of experience in that. And I think in like recent girl group survival shows, we've seen more and more girls actually that have that experience. So I believe it surely is kind of becoming a bit more popular, although I agree that it's probably kind of a point of confliction with the companies if we come to like debut and later, whereas like how much influence can they actually have and are allowed to have. It's probably going to be a long time until that is like becoming open to like every idol, but I feel like it's definitely being influenced though.
Maybe not at the start, right? Maybe not at the beginning, but I think after a few years, maybe they let like their members, okay, maybe you can write or produce. Because I feel like when they start, I feel like the company wants to have like that control, the direction, because they have like I guess if they have like these like boards and say, okay, we want to debut this group like this with, members like this, because it's easier for them, right? But yeah, I can definitely see like if the group has like 2, 3, 4 years, then the company can start like giving them more, control with their songs and albums. But for new groups, I think it's going to be hard. And especially because it comes down to the experience, right? Like maybe the member have that ability, but maybe they don't feel like to do it. I don't know. That could be a thing as well.
I feel like what you're saying is it's kind of like risky for the companies to give those members like the power over the song, right? Because they could just end up being bad in a way. Actually, I also believe it's like a company thing though. Like companies shifting and new companies being created is kind of like influencing that too. We've seen it with a girl group actually that just kind of debuted, called Purple Kiss. You probably know them, right?
A little bit.
Purple Kiss, yes, okay.
They're from Rainbow Bridge World, which is Mamamoo company.
Mamamoo company.
Yeah, so Mamamoo obviously also very known in writing, and especially in writing, not really producing. But all of the members have written songs quite often. And yeah, Purple Kiss now already has multiple songs on both of the albums that have been written and produced by members actually. So they're not completely taking over, they're not doing everything by themselves, but they're very, very in there. And they just debuted, right? So I think it's a company thing a bit too, but it's definitely a risk, I would say.
I think, it definitely has to be like a company thing, if you think about it. Because like we know there are companies that are not that open. Even though even with their like big groups, they're not like, let's say for example, Blackpink, they haven't given even that liberty to the members, right? So it's definitely a company thing. Maybe they should, but maybe it doesn't like goes with the, like you are known for something, maybe it goes sideways, right? And maybe completely change it. Like, no, we don't want, because then people are going to expect more, right? Like people, but let's say they let one member of G-Idol do something, right? And let's say like next comeback, nobody has a say on that. And people are going to be like, oh, why you don't let the members have then you can control that, right? They're going to be having like that.
I see what you mean. So it's becoming like a war between the fans and the company almost.
Yeah. Could create something like maybe they don't want to deal with it. I don't know. There's a lot of things going there. I know they have the talent for do it because, I imagine them having to train for, so long that something even minor gets into you. You start seeing like, how do they produce the song? How do they make the song? How to write? I'm guessing like the experience comes in by, but I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I think we have been talking for like 2.5 hours almost. So I think this is a good place to end the podcast. If you guys want us to do like a more in-depth about or part 2 or something, let us know in the comments, or if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, let me know. If you want Timo and Johnny on the podcast again, let me know as well. And I thank you guys for joining me. Johnny, of course, you've been in here for a couple of videos now, so appreciate you. And Timo, thank you for being on the channel for the first time. Hopefully you enjoyed your time here.
Yeah, for sure, man. Actually, first podcast ever, right, in general. And first time ever talked to you guys as well, so definitely was a bit nervous. But it went well, so I think it was good that it was my favorite group. That was the main topic. I was like very comfortable.
Yeah. That's why I was asking you if you wanted to collab, because I saw on your Instagram that you're a big fan of Soyeon, so I was like, okay, let me ask a question. And you said you were down, so I was like, yes. So thank you again, Timo. And
thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, if you guys are watching and you guys want me to collab with another YouTube channel or do another podcast episode topic, whatever, let me know. Timo, do you want to link your channel or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can just, link it in the description.
It'll be in the description and like somewhere here too. But
yeah. So maybe I can just say like 10 seconds or something. I also do K-pop reactions. I mean, as you would have imagined, maybe. I also have a second channel just for K-hip-hop. I used to do that both in one, but I kind of outsourced it to experiment, I guess. And yeah, I'm a big multi-fan, so I react to pretty much everyone and everything. So yeah, if you're a multi-fan, then you're very welcome to join.
So, like, because me and Timo are pretty similar in terms of content, because I react to a lot of other groups, like different groups. I think Johnny like reacts to like one group in a whole, and then moves on to the next group.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and you guys know Johnny.
He's a talent, actually. Yeah. I respect you guys, because it's honestly, for me, it gets like really overwhelmed, and I can't like keep up. But that's just me. I know that. So when I see like, I love that. I would love to do that. Like react to, I would, but it's just, it doesn't work for me. I don't know. That's why I say like, yeah, I think that from the three of us, I think like I'm not the most like niche down. Like I do Girls' Generation, Secret Number, and say like that. Like now I'm starting with like trying other groups. But yeah, I think, I don't know if you guys are down, right? I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but maybe we should do some, like, Red Velvet's coming back, and we have to talk about Red Velvet. Now, that's my second favorite group of K-pop, so, yeah, it will definitely be.
I think.
Yeah, I'm so hyped for that. But yeah.
And then also, Queendom 2 is coming out soon, so if you want us to do a podcast episode on that, let us know in the comments. But again, thank you, Johnny, Timo, for being on the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next podcast. Peace.
Yeah, guys.